space of your life. So when you look at things, be careful, because some people are not in your best interest. The first group of friends that you might have that you think are yours are what I call the rat friends. You know what I call the rat friends? These are the people that bite you in the feet, but also fan you and blow air on you. These are people that can never tell you the truth about anything. Most of our leaders have rat friends. In fact, they choose rat friends. They want people that will never tell them the truth, but people that will benefit from them. They want people that will always massage their ego, a bunch of pretenders. If you have a friend and your friend cannot tell you the truth, you don't have a friend. So they want people around them that will tell them, oh, the lives of Nigerian people are getting better. Can't you see how some people are lying that President Tinubu has scored 100%? But deep inside, they know the lives of people are not better. So can't you see people like that around you? If you always want the rat friends, people that can tell you, oh, you're doing well all the time, then be careful. Because you see, all they are going to do is they are going to keep eating you in the food, using your name, using everything around you for their own selfish benefit, but your life never gets better. If you have a rat in the house as a friend, they will damage your property, they will eat your leg, they will do anything and everything worse to you. They are always taking for you. The rat gets fatter, but the only thing you get is the massaging of your ego. They will keep blowing you and saying you are the best thing ever. Be wary of people that are constantly praising you and cannot tell you the truth on some issues, or cannot help you get better, or cannot help you look inward for greater growth. A lot of you have such friends. They are the rat friends. For them, it's just to massage your ego while they tell you lies. For some of you, you want those people in your life. They make you feel good, but how long do they make you feel good for? When you get the high, for what reason is the high? So be careful and wary about friends like that. So they keep deceiving you and they keep biting you in the leg. The other group of friends are what we call the snake friends. You know how a snake is in nature? Curial, slicky, but the strength of a cobra brings tempests and pain. So these are friends that pretend that they're with you. But unlike the rat, they do deeper damage to your life. A lot of you are married to snakes. A lot of you have been in a relationship for over 15 years with snakes. It's just a matter of time. You will remember this sermon the day they will strike you. Because no matter how long it takes, a snake is there to strike. For the fact that they buy time does not mean that they are loyal to you. Somebody was telling me the other day, Rufai, this man, I've been with him for over 20 years. He left me. For the fact that he was with you for over 20 years does not mean he was there with you till the end. There's a difference between there with you till the end and striking you. I keep telling you, if you have a friend that will be there with you to the end of your life, if you have one or two of them, you're a lucky man. Some are snakes. You know the thing about the snake is, a snake knows how to play the long game. There are some people that it is a long game that they are playing in your lives. There are some politicians that for them, it's the national cake they want. But you can see the way their head will move and hover around like that of a cobra. They will tell you things you want to hear at that time while they are sniffing and rifling like a cobra. And when it's time, they strike, they get what they want. The truth is, you will have seen some of them in your national life. So they go like a cobra. But once they grab what they want, forget it. So be careful. A lot of you, snakes are sleeping on your beds every night. Snakes are sleeping on your beds. A lot of nations have had snakes as leaders. A lot of African countries over the years have had snakes as leaders. They say they are with the people, but when they get into power, things change. Be careful. As you have friends in your personal life, people too should also open their eyes and look at the antecedents of people that say they want to lead them. You can see pretty much all the political candidates are lined up now. All the parties now are finally meeting the deadline and the targets. We are not talking about how to bring our children out of captivity. So we should be weary. We should be weary. Because when you bring in a snake into your life, it's very hard for a snake to crawl out of your life. It's so easy for you to bring a snake into your life. But it's very hard for the snake to crawl out of your life. Be careful. The last group of friends I'm going to talk about are the ones I call the dog friends. Those are people that are persistently loyal in your life. See, I've talked about the rat friends. In a man's life, you will have a lot of rat friends. As long as you are successful, there's no how. You will have a lot of rats as friends. They come with the territory. Even if you don't want them, they will come. Even though you don't know, they will say they know you. Even those that have never done anything for you or been of benefit, they will say they are with you. They are your supporters when the things are good. It's only when the things are good, though. When you are on top, that's when they know you. They will shout your name and say, Hosanna, Hosanna. I've talked about the snake, cobra. When things are good, they come into your life. Even when things are bad, they will still stay until your own don't finish pata before they strike you and go. That's cobra. They are there to destroy you, to do the lasting final damage. For rat friends, and once you start to go down, once things start to go down in life for you, they are already living. They don't care that much. They are fair weather friends. For snake friends, they will still, sometimes you will mistake snake as dog friends, but they are not the same. You will mistake snake as dog. They are not the same. Snake will act like they are dogs, but they are not the same. Even when things go bad for you, snake will still be there. The little you have, they will still be eating you, eating you, eating you, eating you, eating you, before they finally strike you. But dogs are there till the end. In fact, it is at your lowest you know dog friends. Those that will be there when everything falls apart are your dog friends. It is at your lowest you know them. It is at your lowest you know those people. Because when the noise and the ovation is over, that's when you can truly see through the sound and people that care about you. Once you get on top, people will mention your name. By the virtue of the position you are, people will mention your name. If you want to call us up, 0818-099-1991. And the other number to call is 090. Just a minute, please. 0907-651-1008. 0907-651-1008. But the other number to call is 0818-099-1991. Those are the two phone lines to call. So it's when you are down, they come for you totally. And they pick you up. They are the ones that will come when you don't feel like yourself. When you don't feel man enough or capable. Hello, how are you? Oh, we lost that. 0907-651-1008. 0907-651-1008. The days you feel the lowest, those are the ones that will come. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Rufai on fire.
Great to have you. Bless you. What's your name?
I'm calling from Abuja.
My brother, we are talking about snakes. We are talking about life.
That is not, I thank God for, God has been using you a lot. And God bless the womb, the mother that gave birth to you. I really appreciate your training they give to you. When you talk about these categories of friends, it's nothing but the truth because I have such an experience. But one thing is that in life, the best thing to want is anything you do for anybody, no matter what, just once you just see it as a calling, living a life with a driven purpose towards excellence in life and accomplishing what God has destined one to do. Because from this family of this kind of categories of friends, and I always tell anyone that I encounter, sometimes I share the idea with them. I say that you can't know your friend yet.
Yes, sir.
Especially in this Nigeria, until when you usually you are somebody or woman, then you know the kind of person that.
Yes, sir.
So because you cannot get the integrity of an average man when he's not trustworthy, he's not transparent in terms of managing money or business transaction. Yeah. Because sir, when I started one particular project, sometimes a lot of my friends going to jobs, but when problem comes, sorry, I'll get back to you. That kind of thing.
Oh yes. Don't worry, I was on Didn't I tell you about one of the friends that said they were going to partner with you to do outreach? And I told you that those ones are they are rattle.
So I said, thank God for that information, that advice you gave to me. Sir, if I see politician as I'm speaking to you, sir,
I tell you now.
Money to them because I suspect everything about them.
Ah.
You know, since you told me you want me about that mission of that outreach in Anambra, this man cannot do anything without lying, looking for me how to engage us, you know, to Rufai will say, hey, you know, thank God that even that project did not come to, you know, come to reality. So since you told me that, he said, imagine, manage whatever you have, do within your capacity. If it is 20,000 naira, do it.
Do it.
Don't mingle with those people.
That's just
They
it.
will destroy your reputation. They will paint you black.
That's just it.
So, Rufai Oseni, God will bless you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Manja. Maybe one of these days we'll do small thing, and I will look for get any small that we send to our IDP people to buy drugs again. Even if it's Panadol and small drugs, we can buy for them.
Rufai, I want us to do a project in the month of June. There is a correctional center, that's Super Farm Center.
Okay.
So the season of agriculture has started, and this is the time most of those things suffer a lot because they use them for farming.
Okay.
Sometimes they will take them out. I'm talking from the experience I've encountered them. I've been there. Others we rent them out. By the time they are coming back, they might just give them only 200 and after working from morning till night. Even if you have a farm in Abuja here that you need.
So you want us to buy drugs for the people in the correctional center?
Yes, you want us to buy drugs and probably if we can see how we can just prepare some food like maybe egg roll or soft drinks to give to them.
Okay. I'll relate with you, my brother. So that's still later in June. We'll do how we can do outreach there. What correction center is in Guagalada?
Guagalada, they call it Dupa Farm Center.
Dupa Farm Center, okay. I see what we can do. We'll sync. God bless you, my brother. God bless you. God bless you, my brother. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Rufai.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine. Bless you. What's your name?
My name is Murtala from Ogun State.
Great to have you, Murtala.
Yeah, thank you. Like this topic today, so fantastic. And then you can see they are talking to me directly.
Mm.
And the captain.
Mm.
Because I'm on the team of this thing in South, in France, when I was in school, in the workplace. And now, I find it difficult to even tell anybody because when I was down, there was never anybody for me. And by the time I was doing well, I don't let somebody to come and tell me a problem without even having to solve it. But when I was in crisis, most of them were making bad marks about me, things, all sorts of things. But now that I'm okay, I even find it difficult to even want to even believe anybody. You can see there's a solution to that because my system has been compromised to that now.
All you just have to do is to be wise and watchful. See, another thing I'm also supposed to tell you is if you now say, oh, you're going to be too cautious, when the good people will pass by, you will not know. So you have to be careful so that you don't like they say in local parlance, overkaku. Overkaku can lead to dismay sometimes. So you have to be open-minded. I tell people, my child is like that of a child. I give everybody the benefit of doubt until you prove yourself otherwise. But I'm also guarded. I have tons of people. In fact, if I tell you the tales about the people we help, the lies some of them tell, the things some of them do, the entitlement some of them have. These are people that are seeking help, all sorts. But I give you the benefit of doubt. For me, as long as I have reached out in help and I've done that help within my capacity, it's all on you. But the truth also has to be said. They are good people, as there are a lot of bad people. It's just that there are a lot more bad people. They are more pervasive, but you can also find jewels. So don't say because you've been hard done by people, you feel it's the end of the world. No. Still give people a chance. Still give people a chance, please. It's not the end of the world. It's not a hopeless case. There are still good people on this earth. God will not come down for it. It's still people He's going to use. Hello, how are you? Hello? Morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yeah. Where are you calling from?
From Ocean.
Good. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm a washerman. also a blind man, so wash my hand. And I need a washing machine to support my.
You need a washing machine is about your business. Okay, call your number out on the air.
Hello?
Call your number out on the air. That's the best I can do for you here.
My number is 080 83
Okay.
00.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
So I'm calling from Surrey.
Good. Go ahead. We're listening to you.
Please, sir, I just want to plead for fundraising about my sister I told you about for her new reckless surgery.
We've put that out there now. We've been putting that thing out there. You keep sending messages like we've not done anything. I've put that thing constantly out there on my page. We have done more than enough as regards that case. You sent me messages. I've put it on all of my platforms, and you know it. You even saw it. You acknowledge it. So why are you sending messages like we have not done anything? No, but you keep sending messages like we've not done anything. I see your messages. But I've done a lot for that your sister. I've put it on all my platforms. There's nothing I can do more than that.
I just want to
But have I not done that? Have you acknowledged the fact that I've done that?
Yes, I do.
So why do you keep sending messages like we've not done? If people want to reach out to you, they will reach out to you. It's not a must. You see, that's the sense of attachment we talk about. The best I can do is to give you a platform. It's not a must that you will get help here. God can bring help anywhere. I don't know if you get my point. So just call your number out for your sister's knee replacement surgery, but we've put it out there. Huh? Yeah.
00
Yeah.
89
Yeah.
03
Yeah.
1212.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, that's the best we can do. So you see, even with this business of helping people, and I just give people the chance, to get help. The things we also see, this lady, I put on my Twitter. I tweeted that has over 1 million followers. I put on my Facebook. I put on everything. But almost every day, she keeps sending messages. She's not even acknowledging what we have done. So some people I even think it's a right and entitlement. I mean, if people keep thinking it's a right and entitlement, I can easily stop it. It's not a big deal for me. I'm not, obliged to give people a platform to air their concerns. I just do it out of, willingness of heart because I just like to help people. So when people now think it's a right, no, it's not a right. No, it's not within the remit of my show. I just do it because I have that heart. Maybe I'll stop it for a bit so that people will have autocorrects. If you want to call the show, maybe you talk about something else. Don't just make it about I need this, I need that. Because people will abuse it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Rufai.
Yeah.
I just called down. The machine,
Mr. Ibrahim.
did you buy the machine? So this is Ibrahim from Osho.
Okay.
Let me call my number one day.
You
The blind man.
no, you have your number now. You called before.
I called it before.
Yes, Ibrahim.
Should I call it again?
Don't call it again, Ibrahim. These are the part of the entitlements that will make me stop this. Because you're feeling entitled and you've called it before. So it's not a must. Okay. I would like to put a stop to it. Anybody that needs a request can send me personal messages. But as from today, I put a stop to it on the radio. I think it's enough. We need to get sanity back. Nigerians know how to abuse things. So officially, please do not call if you need any help. You can send me a message. I would amplify it, but do not call straight on the air again. Yeah. So it's not an entitlement. It's not, you see, because this is also the problems we face. If you need any help, send me a message. I will pick it from a pool. You can send it to what's it called? resolvearm.org. I set up that website there. You can send it to that website. We will amplify it on other platform, but do not call directly on the radio again that you need help. People have abused it, then I think we should stop it for a bit. but I would try to read things of people that need help. So as from today, I will not take those calls again on the radio because people definitely will abuse it. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Morning, yeah.
Yeah, this is Michael Oseni from Armenia State. I'm based in Lagos. Sir.
Great to have you, Michael. Michael, what I said is good, right? Because people have abused this. I need help. I need.
Exactly. As I'm speaking to you, I just dropped a text under your comment section and there, and also I dropped the text on your WhatsApp. I just got back copied under your board, your WhatsApp board.
Yeah.
Your Facebook board.
So it's good as I stopped it, right? Yeah.
Actually, you're right. You even the poor also helps the poor and get tired. It's everywhere. That's how it's happened.
Yeah.
And also, I understand it's an entitlement, and at the same time, people are going through hell.
Yeah.
As I'm telling you, I have a child, but I don't pay because I have handwork. I do bed. I do shit. I'm into interior.
Yeah. I mean, we can all amplify that. You know, we can amplify that. You can send me messages, but when it becomes a right that everybody wants to, oh no, I think we should stop it. There's a sense of entitlement. It's overwhelming. Yeah. It's not fair. There's a national sense of entitlement.
People like you are hard to see.
No, me, I love to help people, but
even as you're feeling the pain, you're not keeping it inside. You're speaking it out.
Yeah.
That's one thing people don't see. Even when you're angry, you say what is in your mind. You're transparent. That's what people don't see. Someone else can just stop doing it. Codedly or in a secret way. You can just stop doing what you're doing. I don't know if your comment section or a way to shy away from responsibility, but you're saying it publicly. These are one of the qualities people don't see. I've told people and I've blamed myself. But it's all right.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, so I'm correct on what I did, right? I think we should just stop it because everybody.
That is exactly the reason why I called.
Very good.
My name is Chike.
Yeah.
I'm calling from Apapa.
Yeah.
I just want to say something briefly. Even if you, Rufai, is richer than Elon Musk, you cannot satisfy a particular people in one local government in Nigeria.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And there was a time I was almost doing the same thing that you're doing, but in fact, it's the same sense of entitlement that makes me to stop. So when I see people who need help, directly with my eyes, if I'm convinced to do something, I will do something. Nigeria here is not a place where you throw yourself up for people. A lot of people are pretenders. So they do all what they do to they're just after faith, and they don't care about people who may lose what is supposed to come genuinely because of their problem. They use their own hand to destroy it. So
Yeah.
I think that what you did is very, very correct.
No, thank you. Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, Oseni.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Rufai Oseni, but I'm calling you from Africa this morning.
My brother, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just have to stop it. If anybody has something, we have to use my money to set up a platform called resolve.org. They should send messages there. Enough of all of this calling them. No, enough of. If we need people to call and we want to specifically reach out to people, like I did to the teacher, I was moved to do that. I can do that separately. But when people just call, crash the show and start to enforce their own needs, I think it's disrespectful and it's a sense of entitlement. So we need to put a stop to it to correct that. It's a societal anomaly we have to correct.
Yeah, and that's why I called. That was 3 weeks ago. I called you after you helped the lady that said this planning took over her and other things. After you helped that lady, I told you that people use that as opportunity to start begging all those things. Do you understand? I told you that this thing now, you see Nigerians, they will start using that. People that are okay, they will just think that is a platform for them to make money to. So I think as you are talking, it is a very good thing.
No, I'll stop it. I'll take special cases, but I'm stopping it totally. So please, as from now on, you cannot call me on air and say, oh, you want this, you want that. No, it stopped. You can send me messages on other platforms. I can help amplify it on air. I take all the control of the back end, but you cannot call me, and I'm going to just cut your call off. So please let it be said, so that we all know this. Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Hello,
Hi, good morning.
can you speak up? Who is this?
Good morning. I am the people coming from last year.
I can't hear you. Sorry. Full as call 0907-651-1008 I mean, because there's nothing wrong with helping. I love to help people. But I mean, the sense of entitlement is just what irks me out. And it's just needed to put a stop to it. Because even as regards the lady that called and said she needed something for her sister's knee, she had sent multiple messages that I had amplified. So the sense of need that, oh, it must be if you don't, it must be from you if you don't. I can't help the word. I don't have the resource. I can just do the little I can do. I'm not here to delude people and lie to you. I'm not a politician. I'm not running for office. I don't need people to like me. I'm just here to do my bit and do my work and do the best I can for humanity. And I'm but fleeting. All right. So after she sent multiple messages, I have amplified it already. The best I can do is to amplify. I mean, I amplify a lot of people's challenges and they get help. All right. People send me things and say, oh, I am being threatened, I'm being this, and I amplify and they get help. So because I'd amplified it on many platforms, and you're not calling again, despite the fact that and I told you, you have seen it and amplified on many platforms, enough is enough. It gets overwhelming sometimes. Enough is enough. I'll pick the ones I can't help. All right. Doesn't stop you from sending it on resolveam.org. And that's why I set up that platform. And please, if you really want to help people, go to resolveam.org. There are a lot of people that complain about their problems there that we vet and we put out there for people. I set up a platform there, me and some of my friends. That's just it. So, but these people calling on the show and say, I need this, I need that. I have needs too. I don't just talk about it. Trust me. You think I have it all? I have a lot of needs. I can do with some things too. All right. So it's just out of the need I have. I look for the things and I help out. So I have needs. I have needs. Even when I struggle through my needs, I don't come to tell you. There are days I come to work in pain, but I don't come to tell you. It's not everything. It's not everything I must tell you. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. All right. Call us up on that phone line. And 0907 651 1008. 0907 651 1008. I'll start to wrap things up. Hello, how are you?
Hello?
Morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Rufai Oseni.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Baby G. I'm calling from Ijego, Lagos.
Go ahead, talk to us.
Yes, thank you. Ijego Community Grammar School, the front of that school has been turned to a dump site by the people in that community.
Okay. Ijegu Community Grammar School. Okay. You know what you're going to do for me? You know what you're going to do for me? We've set up a website called Resolveam.
Okay.
RESOLVEAM.org. Take a picture of the front of Ijegu Community Grammar School and put it up there for me so that we have pictorial evidence and we amplify.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Really appreciate you. All right. So 0818-099-1991. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Okay, that is a wrong number. I'm trying to talk to Rufai.
This is Rufai.
Well, I'm watching Rufai live, but it's
Yeah, but you're talking also live.
what is that?
Oh, okay. 0907-651-1008. Phone lines to ring us up on. Take a couple of calls and wrap it up. Hello, how are you?
Morning, sir.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Chief Promotion.
Go ahead, talk to us.
Okay, I really appreciate what you're doing. Though this is my first time calling you,
Yeah.
so I appreciate it. But it's unfortunately that people are taking advantage or negative advantage of your kind gestures with us. And unfortunately, it happened to be that today I want to make some more passionate appeal that this counseling, helping people online now came up. Tomorrow is my birthday by the grace of God.
Mm.
But I recently lost my job. I work in a bank, but I lost my job. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
The graduate, I'm doing my master's going. I have family, I have kids, three of them. So I don't know how I want to get help.
You know what? One thing we'll do is maybe we'll do a special day when we have job seekers. Where we'll give them a chance to sell their self on the radio. That's what we'll do. Hmm? That's what we'll do. So we'll do that special day. Because I don't want to make it an exception with you. So maybe we'll do those special days. But apart from those special days, I don't want it to be a thing where people can just call. I mean, there was a topic that we're talking about. People will just come, hijack your show and tell you
There's one that people annoy me personally. One woman like that, they get help and she didn't even appreciate or thank.
Oh yeah, I remember that case. The woman raised over 100,000 for that. I was asking for more.
I say, which kind of entitlement is this one?
Yeah, so that's why we. But the day we'll do one for maybe we'll have a day where we'll have for business people, we'll have for job seekers. But if anybody needs help, they can send. I have set up that website. That's why I set up the website, resolveam.org. resolveam.org. We set up the website. We set it up as a not-for-profit. We are paying staff to be able to listen to people's concerns there. So send concerns to that website. That's better off. So we can even have a record of it.
Let me get the spelling. Is it
RESOLVEAM. Resolve am, like in pigeon. Resolve am. AM. Resolve and am all together. .org. So go there, send what you need there and everything, and I will amplify on many of my platforms. There are many cases there I just amplify. So that's a better case. That's a better compendium and directory. But when people just call on the radio and say, what is it called? This, that, no, they want to talk. No. Let me tell you a very funny story. Yeah?
okay?
Many years ago, when I started radio, a lot of these calls would not even come on air because I remember those days we used to screen calls. So when you call a radio station, the call does not come directly to the person that is on air. Somebody will first talk to you and ask you what you want to talk about. They'll screen you and before you come on air. So it's just that we make things very fluid these days and all of that. So just to democratize it even. No wahala. But it doesn't stop me. Some days I might be led to help. But for now we must restore sanity. Nobody's entitled. If I help you and I give you a platform of my own volition, I'm just doing it. I'm not entitled to give you. And I want that to sink into people's head. It's just a privilege. It's not a right. It's not a right that I must, hear your own personal problems. We all have problems. I have my own personal problems. I don't come to tell you my problems on the air. So that's just it.
Okay, sir. Thank you for all the things you are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And I just need to sink that into the mindset of an average Nigerian. You shouldn't be entitled. You shouldn't be entitled. We shouldn't be in a society where people just feel so entitled. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Rufai. Good morning.
Great to have you. What's your name?
My name is Kenneth.
Go ahead, talk to us.
All right. I'm asking if we can use this platform to gather money and go for those school children in the bush. I see how to raise money and get them out because
At first, my brother, I feel your pain, but it's illegal to support the payment of ransom. I can't do that. All right?
on the federal government, the pains of those children is something else.
I know. I feel the pain. That's why we need to call on the federal government even more. But I can't use my platform to raise ransom money. I can't do that. I feel your pain. Nobody has been talking this more than I've been talking about it. We'll just also prevail on the military authorities and say they should do their best. But I can't use my platform to come and raise ransom money because I'll be supporting kidnapping. Please.
I listened to VDM
I am not VDM.
talk about such.
I am not
And then
VDM.
I think
Hello, 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 hello,
things
hello,
along that
hello, hello. I am not VDM. I am on a radio station that is being regulated by Nigeria Broadcast Commission. Apart from that, it's not based on my personal conviction. When I feel pain, I amplify issues. I don't go to raise money to be able to now support ransom payment. I'm not going to do that. I beg you. So we are different people. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. I mean, other people might use that route because of pain. I know they feel the pain, but I'm not going to do that. It's very painful and all of that, yes, but I'm not going to use my platform to say I want to raise ransom money. No, I can advocate and put the government to do what they ought to do. Hello, how are you?
And this is Bishop Amos from Gombe State, sir.
From Gombe State.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, talk to us.
Thank you, sir. I think what you said is right, sir. In terms of entitlement, it's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
So something is in terms of sanity.
Yeah, it's too much.
I have an idea. I don't
Yeah.
know if with your permission, I want to start something like translating your top videos to Hausa because we have challenges down here.
Okay. I mean, you can do some of them, but don't forget to give me my intellectual property credits.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, sir.
Don't forget to give me my intellectual property credit. Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm calling from Lagos.
Yeah.
I always love to watch your program. Some of the time I used to go to church, but thank God I'm home today. I just want to give kudos to you. You've been doing a great job. I'm a great follower of it, both on Twitter, Instagram, and all
Thank
this.
you.
So, what you said about those people calling limited to just be calling on phone, telling people your problem. No matter what you want to tell people, everybody has had a lot of stories that is more, even more words than what you want to tell us from there. So you should just have be able to follow the rules and even have the mind to appreciate even when you get nothing, even when attention sometimes even is worth more than money.
That's just it. No, but some of them are so entitled though. I've had people call me constantly and say, Rufai, they've not paid money into my account. They must, why are they not doing it? So for the fact that you announced on radio, everybody will just put their money and send it to you. No, no, it's not done. I mean, sense of entitlement.
They don't understand those things. That attention is even more than money because there's nothing, anything can happen to that attention. That is even more than money.
Yeah.
So I think Nigeria will grow to a stage they're going to understand. But it is not their fault, right? Because some of the things you are doing are part of even some of the prayers we are praying. You don't need to pray for it. Imagine Nigeria will wake up, we pray for us to have light, we pray for us to secure a job. And all those things are not something that we need to pray about.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the situation we find ourselves in this country. God just pray God will help us. And the snake friend that you mentioned is part of the things that has been affecting Nigerians.
Yeah.
I just pray we'll get it right someday because I'm not even seeing us getting right even at this moment. As far as we're complaining right now, I don't see us getting it right. I just pray one day we'll get it right because snake, that's how those politicians are snakes and all those things. Even to our friends, I'm supposed to be a photographer. I own a studio. I relocated to Lagos 2023. I came with a lot of things, stuff. I just say, okay, when you have a lot of gadgets that people think, okay, this guy, you have this, you have that. I can free my mind. Go to some people around, okay, they just come. I don't think I discovered that they come around me because of my equipment and all those things. And when people begin to destroy everything I have, they were leaving. So when I try to repeat it again, they were showing face again. So those are you just have to be careful. I just pray Nigeria will get it right.
Thank you.
Politicians are going to be wrong with
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So a lot of people are sending me messages. Don't you care about the kids in the bush? I mean, you can't care about them more than I do. I've amplified. I've had sleepless nights over their matter. But like I said before, coming on my platform, one, regulated by the NBC. Secondly, my own personal conviction, I don't believe it's right to use my platform to raise money to pay criminals and bandits. What it will do is that it will give an upsurge in those kidnappings because they will always say people will raise money. The best I will do is to call out the incompetence of government. And government is really incompetent. And that's why you see, if a lot of you Nigerians cannot change your country or cannot change our country with your votes and you still vote for people that ruin your lives, the shame is on you because of your own personal tendencies. The shame is on you. I'm just here to call out the incompetence of government as regards those kids. And they were picked up, families are decimated, lives are in tatters, and nothing is happening. I don't do it. There are many cases that people have brought me in that I don't do. All I just do is I amplify and I call governments to action. And that's a lot of pressure too. Do you know that I was in the middle of Reverend Archie's case? Reverend Archie that was finally killed before his wife was released. His wife called me the other day, telling me thank you for the work I did. I amplified that case and I kept on pushing. I will never be the one to say, okay, now let's now set up a platform where people can raise money for. No, I'm not going to do that. Because it's against the law, one, and I don't want to run against the law. Secondly, I will bolstering the activities of these criminal elements, which I will not do. But I also expect our government to be able to do what is right. And not just our government doing what is right, ensuring that it caters to the family members. There's a video of one of the people, I think the husband of the principal that was kidnapped, that was talking to the governor of Sheyi Makinde and was talking about his pain and he was crying. That's a sad one on this government. That's a sad one on this government. And Sheyi Makinde is making a declaration to run for president. They're all concerned about running for president when they've not put them out. Anyway, Sheyi Makinde said he's been working with the commanders morning, afternoon, and night. But we need action. But most importantly, it falls on President Tinubu. It falls on President Tinubu. And please, in this next election, we'd like to beg INEC. Already, we have not seen the end. We have asked for a forensic evidence of the tweets of Amukpito, the INEC chief, when that controversy. We've not gotten any independent forensic evidence. I don't believe in the forensic report INEC went to review this because we want integrity. INEC, the vote of Nigerian people must count because people must follow the system. They must be able to ask questions. You must allow people believe in this democracy again. And we must not do evil to people. And we must not have a case where people come out to vote and they are being hurt and stuff. My job in the media is to call government to account and to hold them accountable. My job is not to raise money to support the ecosystem of banditry because our government is failing. I'm to tell the government, go get your job done. That's why Nigerians handed over the sovereignty to you in Section 14, subsection 2B, that the security of the people is in the hands of the government. And please, I would like to correct some notion. I've been hearing some top people in government saying, oh, the security of Nigeria is not in government's hands. No, stop that nonsense. It's in the hands of government. If you are saying the security of Nigerians is not in government's hands alone, then do you want all of us to be carrying arms? That's going to be a return to anarchy. The reason why we understand that police, military, and other forces of government carry arms and we surrender our sovereignty to them is to be able to secure us and get their job done. If you are telling me that my security is in my own hands, then if police stop me on the road, I might not be able to stop. I will just say, okay, you say my security is in my own hands. My security is not in my own hands. The best I can do as a citizen is to, even out of free will, volunteer information and intelligence. But that's why we have intelligence agencies. That's why we have agencies of government across all. That's why we have a security apparatchik and architecture. So don't abdicate your responsibility and come here to tell us that the security is not only in the hands of no. Because I've been hearing that narrative. I've been hearing that narrative, and it's not a good one. I must have to say it. Our security is in the hands of the people we surrender our sovereignty for in the Constitution to secure Section 14(2)(b). So please, if you are failing as regards insecurity, take the responsibility. If you are saying my security is in my own hands, they didn't put commander-in-chief in my title. It's in front of President Tinubu's title. Commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If you say security is my own hand, that means you want me to be commander-in-chief of Rufai security forces, which I don't have the time to do, because while I'm doing my work amplifying and I'm being a citizen, we expect government to be able to do their part, and that's why I'm surrendering my sovereignty to you. It's Section 14(2)(b). So please, let's stop that narrative, because I see a lot of buck passing. You can encourage the people to say, oh, please volunteer information when you see. And the reason why people don't volunteer information is, have you worked on the trust deficits between security agencies and government? If they don't feel safe enough, we've had instances in this country where people volunteer information and it comes back to hurt them. Till today, I keep asking this government, tell us who instructed the military that were already guarding the girls in KB to leave, and after they left, terrorists came in to pick them away. Who instructed them to leave? And that's why I say I'm not here to raise money to bring out kids or negotiate with bandits. No, that's not my role. How the government is going to fix the problem, that's their role. Section 14, Section 2(b). That's just it. How they're going to fix the problem, that's all I'm to do. And all you are to also do as a citizen is to call them out constantly. That's part of it. And we demand for better accountability. That's all I'm to do. I drink a lot of water. We're waiting for a water company to come and sponsor the show. I'm not going to show you the water I'm drinking. I'm trying to put it up. So that's all I'm to do. To demand that level of accountability and ensure government does what it ought to do. I'm not here to come and think about, oh, how they're going to be rescued and all of that. No, that's where you have security forces. That's where you have people are being paid to do that job. So when you keep saying the security of all of us is in the hands of no. You security forces, you are being paid to do the job. I can't come and do the job that you are being paid to do. I can also advocate that you are not being paid enough. Like I advocate that the police is not being paid enough, the military is not being paid enough, which is very sad. But it's not for me to come and do the job that you are being paid to do. You take the resources of states, the Commonwealth of States, in your payments. That's what is used to pay you. You get big security votes. Do you know the billions, the trillions that is earmarked to security? With all those trillions being earmarked to security of our own Commonwealth, you are not telling us, you have the temerity. You want me to get the temerity to now tell us that security of people is not only the hands of, no, it can't be. Please. You can't come and now tell us that the security is in the hands of no. You are being paid to do this job. All right? So you are being paid to do this job. And we need to tell ourselves the hard truth. And that's why, in response to the person I say, oh, others are trying to do, I mean, that's them. That's their evolution. I'm not going to come here and try to raise money because one is against my ethic. Two, the government is the one that is supposed to do that job because we are pumping a lot of our sovereign wealth. The oil that we all both own A lot of that oil money, when the receipts comes in, a bigger portion of it is budgeted to security. And when they do it, then we need to make it work. And it's for you to be able to protect them. And you guys just need to do better. I mean, we have in this country where General what's it called was being killed, General Uba, which is a sad one. And we spoke up about that. So if the military guys, which I've always supported when they do well, and I've always called them when they don't do well, I will speak up for you if you need more in welfare, if you need more in services and all of that. But it's not for us. And we thank those that are doing well for their service. We thank them for their service, not that we don't thank them. Let me see some messages on what's it called? On YouTube. Somebody was just talking about entitlement and he said, my auntie did 50th birthday. I mentioned I would send her 250K. Before sending her the money, she already telling me about her son's birthday coming up. My second auntie said to give her only 100,000. You can see. He just wants to give help, and people are already telling you about their son's birthday coming up. So the best I can do here is to be able to open your eyes to possibilities. And that's why I have an interview with Professor Corey. You know, he's going to speak about security and all of that. So you're going to, if you want to continue watching that, it's on our YouTube page, VOP 90.3 FM on our YouTube page. So you can watch that. All right. God bless you as you go this Sunday. God will be with you. His favor and his mercy will shine on you. Peace will be on you. And please, we beg government, bring the children in Boronu and in Oyo back home. It's your responsibility. Citizens should not be made to be raising money for ransom. It's an abdication of government's role.
This is your number one radio station at VOP 90.3 FM.
90.3 FM, Lagos. 90.3 FM, Lagos.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I have Professor Kore with me, professor from University of Ibadan at a point now. He's in Saudi Arabia, and Professor Kore has amazing ideas as regards, the insecurity situation in the country. I mean, Prof, great to have you. Prof, you're one of those that are arguing that state police should not work. Why?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, let me first of all say that my knowledge of policing and security management stemmed from the experience I had teaching security psychology at the Department of Psychology, University of Ibadan. Now, I also had the privilege of coordinating the program at a time, assisting the head of department, who is technically the director. And that gave me opportunity to interact with people across security agencies in Nigeria. Police, the military, the immigration, and all the paramilitary organizations. Now also, as a Nigerian, I'm very much aware of activities of states, especially leadership at state levels. Now, we've been in this country, we know that there have been times when governors don't even pay salaries to civil servants. They owe 11 months salary, 12 months, and all that. Imagine having state police that are not paid 3 months salary, 4 months salary. And also the over sensitization, or how do I put it now? Over concentration of power in the hands of state governors. And with what they've done with such powers across the different geographical zones in this country, can only push us to a simple conclusion. And that is the fact that state police, as it is today with leadership at that level, will not solve the problem. In fact, if anything, it will only exacerbate the insecurity situation in the country. Okay? Now, why should we avoid state police when we think the federal police is not working? Why is the federal police not working? Federal police still remains the best option for Nigeria, and I stand by it. I can defend it anytime, any day. That is my opinion. However, I would also like others to reflect on the reasons I will adduce, or my reasons for saying that. Now, every policeman is from a local government area in Nigeria. Policing is a community-based activity. Policing is not military, okay? And crime is local. When you have foreigners come into a community to commit crime, they can only succeed because the policing system in that community is such that does not understand the dynamics or the activities in the local community. Now, every policeman from a local government in Nigeria should be sent to his local government to serve as a federal police personnel. Okay? When police in the local government are from that local government, you cannot have 100 motorcycles coming to the local government to pack people away. Because everybody will know everybody. Even if the policeman does not know, his friend, his colleague will know somebody, his sister, his brother, his cousins, everybody will know who is new in the community. Okay? If people come in to steal goats, there's no way you see 100 goats in a community where you have 500 policemen. In a local government where you have 500 policemen, you have maybe 200 civil defenders, you have 10 SSS, and then they will come back again to repeat the same crime. No, it's not possible. And additionally, when policemen serve in their community, they earn the respect of their people. There will be no case of people killing their own people. Because everybody will know who does that, who shot at the policeman. And the police will also respect their people.
But is this not the same thing state police trying to address by allowing people from the same state, run in the state
No,
as a
the
police
control
officer?
differs.
Okay.
The control differs. The way federal police manages the police system will be quite different from the way state governors will run the police system. In fact, most state governors will largely recruit those who aided them in elections into the police. So what that means is that in the next election, these guys can be used to intimidate their opponents, political opponents. Okay? And you can see it from even revenue collection. What state governors do with revenue collection, with the thugs who are revenue collectors.
In Edo State, for instance.
Well, it may not be only in Edo State.
Yeah.
Okay? That gives you an idea as to how the state police will be managed. Even the states that have established vigilantes, go see their record. But the federal police will be more disciplined, especially when
But a lot of people
in their own areas.
a lot of
why
people-
they are not disciplined right
Yeah.
now, or why the level of discipline is a challenge.
Yeah.
Because where you send this person to, nobody knows him. Whatever he does, if a policeman comes from Jigawa State and he is in Ogun State, whatever he does in Ogun State, sometimes people don't even know where he comes from. Nobody cares. But if he's from that local government area, look, everybody knows whose son this policeman is. And even the policeman also knows that these are his people. They speak the same language, they have the same culture, probably, they interact. If one group, maybe his friend is a Muslim, if he's celebrating Salah, they go there. In fact, the policemen in that community, some of them will be playing soccer with the youths in that community weekends when it's not on duty. So because they are related, they are close to each other. So this idea of here police has been killed, police has been shot, who will shoot policeman in his own place? It's not done. And the police will also respect his people. The police will not go about engaging in all this police brutality. That will minimize brutality. Because you cannot brutalize your own people.
But what about the shortfall? So if you say everybody should be from their local government, there will be some local governments that do not have enough police officers. What do we do in that regard?
Yes, that will give us opportunity to actually balance. What do we do? In some areas, we can get police, in some areas that are highly populated with police personnel, you can take some of them, take 50 from here, 50 from another local government, 50 from a local government from another state, and sent to that place. And it cannot be geographically the same. So if, for instance, in a particular, let's say Oyo State, if Ibadan does not have enough, and you have enough in Oyo, well, you pick some from Oyo to work in Ibadan for a short period. And that could be on special, they can be labeled as those on special operation for a short period. And within that period, the police, the police service commission or the police management can recruit people from those areas where there are shortfalls. And that will help to balance. See, policing is a community duty. Law enforcement is community based. Even when you hear, in fact, I've listened to about 4 or 5 past IGs. They keep talking about community policing. How do you talk about community policing when the policemen don't even have knowledge of the areas they are sent to? How do you send somebody from Okigwe, for instance, to go to Sokoto? Or go to
But some of them stay so long in this particular area that they've
that
learned.
is different. You may stay so long in an area without even understanding the language. Without understanding the language. You need to understand the language. You need to understand the geography of the place. Look, even if you send a policeman to Ilesha, the policeman can spend 5 years there without knowing the bushes in Ilesha. But somebody who's from Ilesha knows everywhere. He grew up in that place. His cousins are there and all that. And then you have policemen at every level, from the DPO downward. Even, in fact...
So should we also get people that grew up in that area that are not from that area into the police force in that area?
That will still be different.
Why?
It will be different because...
So like someone like me that grew up in Warri,
okay.
all right?
Yeah.
Me, I'm a Onwe Alaja boy. right? I'm an boy. I mean, there's no bush. I don't know in Urunworo. There.
Now,
Go and make Yoruba man.
people to volunteer information to you. This is
Okay.
where policing must be localized. I mean, this is why I feel policing should be localized. People will be willing to volunteer information to you when they know you have their own.
Because, okay, see,
If
take
they
for
have their
instance,
own, people will not be willing.
I know parts in Orunworo called Ojipata. Most of people that I even staying abroad that their village is Orunworo, they might not even know Ojipata.
Yes.
Me, I know Ojipata.
Yes.
Me, I know Osiefun.
Yes.
I know all those interior.
Yes.
And this is a Yoruba man mentioning Osiefun, Ojipata,
I agree.
and all of that. Most people do not know Ojipata.
Yes. But even
I've even ate the food. Most of them don't even know that me, I know pig water
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
Popo gari, popo madiga.
But you may not know who are the people selling Indian ham in that place.
But if I want to know, I can know.
Some people may not be willing to volunteer
Oh,
information to you.
But they will never see me as someone that is external.
No. You see, sometimes, there's, intelligence, okay? Intelligence gathering. It's not so much about formal or a formal practice. You get more intelligence informally. When you interact with people, you play ball with them, you play ludo with them, you discuss with them. Oh, this one brother is visiting your brother at home. They are gisting. You are in the room probably observing siesta. You can get so much intelligence from them that even when 10 people are sent out to gather intelligence, they will not be able to gather. So, you see, we need to localize policing in order to address these problems. You cannot have a community where you have, for instance, something happened in Kaduna, and I watched it on your TV station, sometime, was it last year or early this year, when the police leadership there said, oh, nothing happened. And then some other people said, oh, something happened. The people said, look, something happened. The police said, nothing happened. A policeman from that area, the DPO from that area, another policeman in that area, couldn't have gone out to say nothing happened in their community. When maybe some of those who were kidnapped may be related to those policemen. They will cover up. Okay? And they will know who and who. I mean, how do you bring 100 motorcycles to a place? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to say you do not know who did it or where they came from. They will pack people and go away. There's no way. Because the next community, the next local government, the policemen there too are also from that local government. And because of that proximity, they will be more helpful to the other local governments. So there will be that synergy. Right now there is interagency. In fact, there is total disconnect.
Let's talk about funding.
Okay.
And welfare of police, and let's talk about insecurity.
Okay.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
Boko Haram.
Yeah.
What's your solution to all of this?
You see, I'll still take us back to community policing. Because when policemen serve in their own community, their stress level will be reduced by half. This problem of lack of accommodation for police will not be there. Okay? Because if you serve in your community, you have your family home to stay, you can rent an apartment, or at least you are with your people. No policeman will be sleeping on the streets. The question of barrack system will not arise. And then that will really enable them to know who and who is involved in all these things. And they can interact, they will always be able to interact with them. As it is today, I think, this is my candid assessment, based on news and all that, and what we see here from people, we see in the news every day. Now look, the military is doing policing job. The military is doing policing job. When military go to a community and attack these guys, or they succeed in clearing these guys, who stays? Now the policemen, they are not from there. The military should not be so involved in all these things. It's when a particular area is overheated that the military should be brought in. Okay? But the police in the community, this secret service that primarily generate intelligence, we work with the police, work with civil defense and all that. Civil defenders can ride bicycles in the markets. And with that, they see a group of people buying certain things, and they will be able to obtain the necessary information to share with the police. And then they can even follow up on these guys to know where they are coming from. Okay? All over, policing is a community-based practice.
But the welfare of the police officers is one thing.
Yes.
The behavioral and attitudinal training. You have done a lot of work as regards, behavioral and attitudinal training. You're a professor of sociology, psychology.
Yes.
So how do we shape up the mentality of a police officer?
Okay. First of all, sometimes we tend to think that because someone wears uniform, that has removed the humanity in him. Okay? That does not make the police less human. The police also wants to live normal life. The police want to be able to pay school fees for his children. The police want to be able to pay, to live in a decent environment and all that. As it is today, with the level of remunerations in this country, you cannot expect the best. You cannot expect something totally different from what we are getting. And that is why I still come back to this idea of getting policemen to be in their communities. Because when they are at home, they will be, at least there will be less pressure on them. They live with their families. The policeman leaves his family, he's posted from Calabar to Yola. Look, his salary will be divided. He has to always send money home. But if he's with his family, he has a single home, a single family to manage. Okay? With the meager salary they have. But let me also be quick to mention that even the salary is embarrassing. I mean, we should take the average of police salary in West Africa, for instance, and then find out where we stand, okay, in terms of our police reward structure or system, okay? You can't pay somebody maybe 100,000 naira or so, I don't know how much they earn now. You pay police 100 or 150.
You're just telling me that the professor's salary in Burkina Faso.
A professor's salary in Burkina Faso is about $4,000. In fact, in Uganda, it's $4,000. It's $4,000.
And we here, we're paying how much to professors?
I don't know. A professor's salary in Burkina Faso is about 4,000, 3,000, 4,000 for senior professors, junior ones, even secondary school teachers in Burkina Faso. Their salary is close to $1,000. Okay? So let me tell you something. If we have to buy Honda Accord in Nigeria, they are not going to sell Honda Accord for us cheaper than the Honda Accord you sell to a professor in South Africa. If anything, it's more expensive here than in South Africa. Okay? Is it that because you are a professor, you must never drive Honda Accord or you must never drive a new car and all that? So the same thing with the police. The policeman has to be able to send his children to school. The policeman has to be able to buy good clothes for his children. Okay? By the time he's serving in Adamawa, his family is in Ogoja, and at the end of the month, what he earns, if he sends 70,000 to his family in Ogoja, even when he has to visit, what will it cost him to transport himself to Ogoja? So you see that you created a problem for him from the beginning. And then when he is in his community, the level of corruption will drop significantly. Because he can't extort his own people. No. This man will say, you see, the son of Lakwaja that is a corporal or sergeant. The other day I was coming from the farm. He stopped me and collected 1,000 naira from me. I mean, he will not do that. He won't do that. And people will respect the police.
So it goes back to they must be in their community. But now that we're in the federal structure, they're in their community, what do we do to their mentality?
When they are there, first of all, they will be more relaxed. There will be less stress. If you see the level of aggression in the average policeman on the street in Nigeria, he said not to scare anyone. When you listen to foreigners visiting the country, sometimes they tell you that when they see the Nigerian policemen, they are scared. But nobody has even taken the pain to understand the condition under which that man is working. He goes to work 7 a.m. and he does not close until about 7 p.m. There's no there's no helmet, no protection, no protective gear, nothing. In the rain, he's there, in the sun, he's there, and all that. And at the end of the day, how much is he going to be paid? What quality of life does he live? He's also going to buy a small generator for his family. and then be buying petrol and all that. From how much? So you see, stress stimulates aggressive behavior. Policing is a stressful job anywhere in the world. It's even worse here because as the policeman closes from work here, he does not even have light to electricity to also listen to the news, to know the trend of criminal activities and all that. Okay? So, and as he's closing from work, he's also not, he's detached from his family. No, you cannot do that and expect the best out of the police. If you ask me, the average Nigerian policeman deserves an award because they work under very difficult conditions. Yes. Yes. Are we getting the best? No. Then how can we get the best? There has to be improvement. Salaries of everybody in this country is scandalous. Let's be realistic. Salary, the reward system is not based on job analysis. You ask yourself, how many young boys and girls will graduate from Queen's College, and want to enlist into the police force? How many? Why? Because it's not attractive. Yes. Elsewhere, people want to join the military, people want to join the police, people want to join the Navy because of what they see. Even people will go to university to study specific courses because of the reward system. Okay? So, how many people will actually finish from King's College today and want to join the police? I think that will give us idea as to the deficiencies in the system. Okay? But again, despite this shortcoming, despite this challenge, the system can be better if the police is serving his community. There will be less pressure on him. There will be less pressure. Okay? When he's not at work, even if he has a farm, the day he's not at work, he can decide to go to his farm. Okay? And there are other, even doing his job, it will be more effective. And then also, there has to be a standardized way or methods of evaluating performance, which is totally missing in this country. The level of accountability is low. So if you have police commander in charge of a local government, and you have another one, maybe area commander in charge of a senatorial district, there has to be reports going into and off into the IG's office every day to see what the challenges they're having, the successes they're recording, how many crimes are taking place, what are the type of crimes that happen in this community or in that local government or in that senatorial district. And that will enable the police authority to plan. And from time to time, they will have retreats for these managers at the senatorial level, and those ones will go back and implement whatever strategies they have, they've been given by, or they have acquired from the management or from training institutions. Okay, and I will see everybody will be at peace, and I can tell you, it will reduce cost of policing. Right now, even policing in Nigeria is very expensive. Yet, police does not even have the fund. Yeah. So when you localize policing, you are going to achieve several results. I just told you about voluntary information, which is missing here. It's missing. Who will volunteer information to a police officer? He does not know where he comes from, whether he's close to the people who are terrorizing them and all that. You don't know. Everyone is scared. Okay, but if you have policemen from your place, you will tell them openly. You'll be able to volunteer information. Okay, and effective policing largely depends on intelligence. Okay, and I also think that it is not so much that we don't have capable hands, and I think our state security service is well trained enough to be able to generate.
So why are we having intelligence failures and killing?
We are having intelligence failures because the people you send out don't even know the area you send them to. Send them to. How do you post somebody from Kano to go to Yenegoa? To do what? To do what? You know, because he's federal does not mean you should take him from one place to another as if he's going to do
Is that
NYSC.
also federal character, like making them learn more about the country and integrating the country better?
No, you see, how has that helped us? That's the question we should ask. How has that helped us? We've been talking about, okay, learn more about the country, even with NYSC. If we actually do audit of the National Youth Service Corps, to what extent are we achieving the goal that was the reason for establishing the National Youth Service? Some people go to other places, they come back and, in fact, and realize that this country is not really one country as they thought. Yes.
But what about people too that go to those places and discover that this country is blessed and they make new friends forever and they get married?
You can always make friends. You don't have to be. It's not until you go and work in that place before you know that.
But how do you integrate without going there to work?
Has it helped us? Let's ask ourselves. Has it helped us? The colonial
no, but prior to this time, after the Civil War, NYSC was one of the major integrating factors.
Yes, because
and it
of
helped
the exigencies of the time.
Yeah, and it helps.
But things have changed. Things have changed. If you wrote JAMB twice, and you knew that your first JAMB was 240, you couldn't get into university, and now you went to another place, part of the country, you realized that with 145, 160, people got into university there, they graduated, and then you are serving in a school where the teacher who studied economics, for instance, or history, did not score up to 200 when he got into the university. And you couldn't go into university with your 240 until you have to write again to score 250. How will you feel? Okay, actually it has exposed us to the imbalance, in fact, to the deficiencies in the system. We're always afraid to discuss this. We're always afraid to have that open discussion. Okay? Ask yourself, should we continue to drive a culture that undermines merit? You will see the level of imbalance in the educational system in the country. You will notice that in some parts, you have a high level of this, and when you go to another part, almost nothing. I listened to the Minister for Education a few days ago when he was giving statistics about something. He said 80% of World Bank funding for education has been in one part of the country, and yet that part has the highest number of out-of-school kids. So how do you explain that? Okay. So, sincerely speaking, I strongly believe that federal police system is going to be the best for us for the time being, until such a time that the democratic system is matured. Because the way people get into office, political office, it's not the normal way in many cases. Okay, there is intimidation. A lot of the electoral victories are actually won in the court, not from the ballot, often, as we should expect. Okay, and with the exuberance we see, with the level of political intimidation, when these people have police, states have police. First of all, they won't pay their police well. Some state governors will pay police 25,000 naira a month. I can tell you that. Some state governors will pay police 25,000 naira a month.
How much do you think?
That person a gun.
25,000.
With 25,000 naira a month. What are you expecting him to do with it? But when there is federal police, you see.
How much do you think should be the least pay for police now, as we speak?
As I'm with you right now, no policeman in Nigeria, just leaving police training school, should earn a dime less than 300,000 naira. Less than, no. Okay? Now, the police system, why I still talk about federal police is that the federal police system has checks and balances. You have the AIGs, you have the commissioners of police, you have area commanders, you have DPOs. So, at every level, whoever is using, in a community, if someone is misbehaving, you go to the area command, and the person in charge of the area command may be from one of those local government areas, and he's a superior officer. And because he knows he's also accountable, he will not allow certain things to happen. Maybe people who are related to him will be kidnapped, and then he will keep quiet, or he want to cover it up. He won't do that. I'm telling you that you see, the average policeman serving his community will be better respected, will be more respected, will experience less stress from the job, will be with his family, okay, will always be able to obtain intelligent information from the community. And then his presence or their presence will serve as deterrent to would-be criminals.
Thank you so much, Professor Corey, for this insight.
The troubling rise of Afrophobia and xenophobia. Within parts of our continent, including here in South Africa. Let me speak carefully but candidly, because I'm a Nigerian. South Africa's liberation was not won by South Africans alone. The anti-apartheid struggle became a continental responsibility. Across Africa, nations and citizens made sacrifices in support of South Africa's freedom. But this was not charity. It was solidarity. It was an understanding that oppression anywhere in Africa threatened dignity everywhere in Africa. Thank you, Madam Chairperson of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, for your very generous remarks. Your Excellency, our leader, President Thabo Mbeki, Madam Vice Chancellor, who has already beautifully established the order of precedence, and I wouldn't like to bore you by repeating what she's done so well, but just to concur and agree with our protocol list. It is both a profound honor and a personal privilege and pleasure to join you today at the invitation of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation and the University of South Africa to deliver the 16th Africa Day lecture holding in Cape Town South Africa. Permit me first to express immense gratitude to President Thabo Mbeki, one of Africa's most inspirational statesmen and leaders, whose lifelong commitment to the African cause continues to shape our continental imagination. President Mbeki belongs to that generation of African leaders who understand that the liberation of Africa was never simply about the transfer of political power from colonial administrators to African elites, but about restoring the dignity of African peoples, reclaiming Africa's voice in the world, and building institutions capable of transforming independence into genuine freedom and structural transformation. For many of us across the continent, President Mbeki's articulation of the imperative of the African Renaissance is not merely an empty political slogan. It is a call for concerted efforts to be made to achieve a long overdue continental rebirth. The call has challenged Africans to think historically, act collectively, and build with confidence. Like many, I had the call, and therefore stand before you as the partisan of a generation shaped by the ideals of Pan-African solidarity, democratic struggle, and institutional renewal about which the President has consistently spoken. And perhaps there could be no better place to have this conversation today than here in South Africa, a nation whose long and determined journey of liberation inspired millions across the continent and the world, and whose democratic trajectory are deeply intertwined with Africa's broader search for a stable democratic development. And that Africa is now at a historical crossroads. Excellencies, across our continent, one senses simultaneously the weight of history and the urgency of the future. We're living through a moment of profound transition in the world and within Africa itself. A moment in which the assumptions that shaped the post-colonial African state, internally and externally, are being challenged by new political, economic, and social realities as the post-1945 global order, built under the banner of Pax Americana, wanes and a new world order is rearing its head. Our continent today embodies extraordinary paradoxes. Never at any point in time has Africa possessed such immense demographic strength, and all our previous speakers referred to this, entrepreneurial energy, cultural influence, and strategic global relevance. African music and movies shape global culture. African technology entrepreneurs are redefining innovation. African youth are among the most politically conscious generations in our history. The world is increasingly recognizing that the future of labor, energy transition, strategic minerals, and even global markets will be deeply connected to Africa. In short, in many of these areas, if you don't go Africa, you cannot go green. Yet at the same time, many African societies are grappling with profound uncertainty, massive, unprecedented insecurity and criminality at different levels, persistent and even growing poverty and socioeconomic inequality, collapsing public trust in institutions, weakening democratic governance, and growing authoritarianism, evidenced by military interventions, insecurity, and instability in different forms threaten social cohesion. While across many of our societies, citizens increasingly question whether independence as translated into dignity, opportunity, and justice. This is the paradox of contemporary Africa. Allegedly politically independent, yet often economically constrained. Globally relevant, yet internally fragmented. Resource-rich, yet bedeviled with poor leadership and institutionally vulnerable. It is therefore no coincidence that the theme of this lecture, advancing African unity, sovereignty, solidarity, and the renewal of institutions, speaks directly to the defining questions of our time. Without sovereignty, African countries remain vulnerable to external manipulation and dependency. Without solidarity, African societies become fragmented and susceptible to fear, mistrust, and division. Without strong institutions and underlying visionary leadership, neither sovereignty nor solidarity can be sustained over time. The central challenge, therefore, before Africa is not simply how to survive ongoing global geopolitical shifts, but how to organize with confidence, a collective spirit, courage, and dignity in order to help shape the new global order that is emerging as a co-rule maker and not a hapless rule taker. But what does sovereignty mean in the 21st century? For much of the 20th century, African sovereignty was understood primarily in political and territorial terms. Sovereignty meant the end of colonial rule. It meant the lowering of foreign flags and the emergence of independent African governments. That struggle was historic and necessary. Men and women across this continent sacrificed enormously to secure the rights of Africans to govern themselves. But the world has changed profoundly since the era of political independence. Today, sovereignty can no longer be understood narrowly. In the 21st century, sovereignty is measured not merely by political symbols, but by state capacity. True sovereignty is the ability of nations to make independent developmental and governance choices. It is the ability to determine economic and political priorities without external coercion. It is the capacity to feed one's population, secure one's borders, manage one's natural resources responsibly, educate one's citizens, industrialize strategically, and negotiate internationally from a position of confidence. In many respects, the global economy has entered a new age of strategic competition. The world is increasingly shaped by struggles over technology, artificial intelligence, energy transition, supply chains, and critical minerals. In this emerging global order, Africa occupies a central position. Our continent possesses vast reserves of the mineral essential for the global green transition, from cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo to lithium in Zimbabwe, from platinum in South Africa to rare earth minerals across various parts of our continent. Africa is indispensable to the sustenance and future of the global economy. In short, the world cannot go green without first going Africa. Yet, history compels us to ask difficult questions. Will Africa once again remain merely a source of raw materials for external industrial powers? Will we continue to export wealth while importing poverty and dependency? Or can this historical moment become the turning point through which Africa finally moves from extraction to structural transformation. This question is deeply personal to me. During my service as Nigeria's Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources Development, I saw both the enormous promise and the painful contradictions of Africa's mineral economy. I saw how weak governance structures often permit illicit extraction, environmental degradation, corruption, and capital flight. But I also saw the transformative potential that emerges when policy reforms, transparency, and long-term industrial planning are taken seriously. Africa cannot achieve meaningful sovereignty whilst remaining dependent on external actors for technology, manufacturing, financing, and value addition. Sovereignty requires productive capacity. This is why the African Continental Free Trade Area must be understood not simply as a trade arrangement, but as a strategic instrument for continental transformation. AfCFTA provides Africa with an unprecedented opportunity to create integrated regional value chains, strengthen inter-African trade, and reduce structural dependency. The future of Africa's sovereignty lies not in isolation, but in deliberate integration. A prosperous and sovereign Africa will be built through interconnected economies, shared infrastructure, coordinated industrial policy, and strategic regional cooperation. But we have to deal with the crisis of the global order. And what's Africa's position going to be in that? Clearly, it's been said, and I agree, the international system is passing through a period of profound uncertainty and restructuring. The assumptions that shape the post-Cold War global order are increasingly breaking down before our own eyes. Across the world, multilateral institutions are under strain. Geopolitical rivalries are intensifying. Economic nationalism is resurgent, and global cooperation is becoming more fragmented. The liberal rules-based in multilateral order is fraying. Ironically, the chief violators of the rules underpinning the post-1945 multilateral order are some of its architects. And we're witnessing a world in which powerful nations increasingly prioritize narrow national interests and strategic competition over collective responsibility. Global institutions that were originally established to promote coordination, coherence, and stability now often reflect deep asymmetries of power. In many respects, the voices and priorities of the global South remain marginal within the architecture of international governance and development. Africa must therefore approach this changing world with both realism and strategic clarity. Our continent cannot afford to become merely a theater for external competition among global powers. Whether the contest comes from East or West, from old powers or emerging middle powers, Africa's responsibility remains fundamentally the same: to develop the internal capacity of governments, businesses, and citizens to engage the rest of the world from a position of self-assurance, long-term vision, and clarity. Because for too long, we have approached international engagement from a posture of dependency rather than strategic partnership. Too often, external relationships have been defined by aid, extraction, and security dependence rather than by long-term developmental interest. Our future demands something different, and that was what President Mbeki and his colleagues articulated clearly in the new Partnership for Africa's Development. Africa must increasingly move from aid diplomacy to interest-based diplomacy. We must engage globally, not merely as recipients of external assistance, but as strategic actors of shaping outcomes. And that ultimately requires institutional competence. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, no country can negotiate effectively in the global arena without capable public institutions and leaders with foresight. No society can protect its sovereignty if critical sectors of governance and development are permanently outsourced. Across the continent, we have witnessed situations in which our states depend excessively on external actors for security arrangements, technological infrastructure, energy systems, and even aspects of day-to-day governance. We must take note that sovereignty outsourced is sovereignty diminished. This challenge is especially evident in parts of the Sahel region of West Africa, where I come from, where the resurgence of military coups has raised difficult questions about the state of democracy and governance across the region. But let me state clearly, constitutional order must always remain the foundation of legitimate governance. Military intervention cannot become a durable and legitimate substitute for democratic accountability. However, if democracy is to endure in Africa, we must honestly confront the governance and institutional failures that often create fertile conditions for democratic breakdown. In many societies, citizens increasingly feel disconnected from our political institutions. Elections alone, even when free and fair, do not sustain democratic legitimacy if governance fails to produce inclusion, justice, and opportunity. Too often, democracy has been associated in the minds of ordinary citizens with elite circulation rather than social transformation. When people experience persistent poverty, insecurity, corruption, and exclusion, despite formal democratic processes, frustration accumulates. In this sense, military intervention is often not the disease itself, but a symptom of a deeper institutional crisis. The real danger confronting many African democracies today is the erosion of public trust. And once trust in institutions and leaders begins to collapse, political instability becomes increasingly difficult to contain. That is why the renewal of African institutions and leadership is not an abstract intellectual exercise. It is an urgent political necessity tied directly to the survival of democratic governance itself across the entire continent. But how do we renew African institutions? Where is this visionary leadership going to come from? Strong institutions and visionary leadership, cleverly combined, are ultimately the invisible architecture. But history repeatedly demonstrates that societies do not simply collapse because they lack natural resources or talented citizens. Nations fail when institutions become weak, hijacked, personalized, corrupted, and incapable of commanding trust. Our continent is not lacking in intelligence, creativity, or human potential. Africa is overflowing with an abundance of talented young people, innovative entrepreneurs, accomplished professionals, technocrats, and resilient communities. But no nation can build prosperity on improvisation, no matter how talented the population is. Development requires leadership vision and institutional continuity. It requires systems that function predictably, regardless of who occupies political office. This is one of the most important lessons of history, which Africa must now embrace with greater seriousness. The future of the continent will not be secured merely through speeches or charismatic personalities. It will be secured through the patient and disciplined construction by visionaries of capable institutions that are able to stand the test of time. But we also require strong universities, research institutions, policy centers, capable of generating African solutions to African challenges. We require transparent public finance systems that reduce corruption and improve service delivery. We require effective local governance structures that bring democratic accountability closer to the ordinary citizens. Above all, We require institutions capable of earning and sustaining public trust. Trust is the currency of legitimacy. This is why visionary leadership matters profoundly. And by this type of leadership, I do not refer merely to political office holders. I refer to leadership understood as ethical stewardship, leadership grounded in restraint, responsibility, and institutional vision. It is leadership that is savvy and forward-looking. Africa needs leaders who understand that power is temporary, but institutions are enduring. We need leaders prepared to build systems that outlive their own tenure in office. We need leaders capable of resisting the temptation to personalize the state or weaken institutions for short-term political gain and personal gratification. Africa needs leaders who place the national interest above personal interest. But no conversation about African unity can avoid the question of solidarity, because solidarity is ultimately the moral foundation upon which Pan-Africanism rests. African unity cannot be sustained merely through treaties, summits, or diplomatic declarations. It must be rooted in a shared emotional and historical consciousness, a recognition that the destiny of African peoples remains interconnected. The great contemporary architects of Pan-Africanism understood this very clearly. Great leaders such as Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Patrice Lumumba, Nelson Mandela, and if I dare say so, Thabo Mbeki, to cite a few of them, understood it, and their legacy has consistently reminded us that Africa's future depends not only on economic cooperation, but also, quite importantly, on the cultivation of a deeper continental consciousness. Pan-Africanism was never simply about political coordination among states. It was fundamentally a moral project. A project grounded in the belief that the dignity of one African is tied to the dignity of all Africans. And that is why we must confront honestly and courageously the troubling rise of Afrophobia and xenophobia. Within parts of our continent, including here in South Africa. Let me speak carefully but candidly, because I'm a Nigerian. Let me speak carefully but candidly. South Africa's liberation was not won by South Africans alone. Thankfully, President Mbeki recently reminded us of that solemn truth. The anti-apartheid struggle became a continental responsibility. Across Africa, nations and citizens made sacrifices in support of South Africa's freedom. African countries offered sanctuary to exiles and liberation movements. As a young university student in Nigeria in the early 1980s, I and several of my colleagues gained our Pan-African consciousness working at the ANC and SWAPO offices in Kefi, Lagos. Under the tutelage of President Mbeki, then our chief representative of ANC, and later Comrades Mark Shope and Comrade Victor Matlow, successive chief representatives, and also Comrade Kampala and Herman Ichete, chief representatives of SWAPO in Nigeria at the time. African workers and taxpayers contributed resources to support the liberation effort. African intellectuals mobilized international solidarity. African leaders paid diplomatic and economic cost in confronting apartheid. Nigeria, among many others, stood firmly in support of South Africa's liberation. But this was not charity. It was solidarity. It was an understanding that oppression anywhere in Africa threatened dignity everywhere in Africa. This shared history matters profoundly. And that is why violence or hostility directed at fellow Africans anywhere on the continent must concern us deeply. Afrophobia is not merely a law enforcement issue or a question of migration policy. It represents a crisis of continental consciousness that negates the continental renaissance that we all seek. But at the same time, we must approach this issue with maturity and honesty. Xenophobia does not emerge in a social vacuum. It is often fueled by economic inequality, unemployment, weak governance, poor service delivery, political manipulation, and institutional distrust. I do not minimize the genuine hardship that produce such desperate reasonings. Youth unemployment is not a statistic. It is a daily humiliation. And when institutions fail to provide relief, communities will sometimes violently seek to define the boundary of who belongs to where. Ghanaians did it in 1969 when the Busia government sent Nigerians packing. Nigeria retaliated in 1979 and 1981 when the Shagari government sent Ghanaians back home in the Ghana Must Go episode. In societies where citizens feel economically insecure, frustration can easily be redirected towards the most vulnerable groups. But that understanding is not exoneration. Whilst we must acknowledge these pressures, which are largely the inheritance of apartheid structural deformations, we must never legitimize violence or exclusion against fellow Africans. If Africans cannot coexist peacefully with one another, then the dream of continental integration will remain fundamentally weakened. The African continental free trade area cannot flourish in an atmosphere of mutual suspicion. Regional integration cannot deepen where fear and hostility dominate public life. Africa, therefore, requires a renewed ethos of continental citizenship that emphasizes that sovereignty is not in conflict with solidarity. We must teach younger generations that being proudly Nigerian, South African, Kenyan, Ghanaian, or Senegalese is entirely compatible with being proudly African. Identity must not become exclusion. Indeed, Africa's strength has always resided in its diversity, linguistic, cultural, religious, geographic, and historical. Our challenge is not to erase these differences, but to build solidarity across them. And perhaps that is the meaning of African unity in our time. Unity, not uniformity, but shared purpose. The future of Africa will be shaped more by the aspirations, energies, and opportunities available to the younger generation. And that is why I'm glad that this year's series of events places a lot of premium on engagement with younger people. By the middle of this century, Africa will possess the youngest population in the world. By 2050, 1 in every 4 human beings on Earth will be African. This demographic transformation represents one of the most consequential developments in global history. If properly educated, empowered, and productively engaged, African youth could become the engine of an unprecedented continental transformation. Our young people possess immense creativity, technological adaptability, and entrepreneurial dynamism. And across the continent, we already see African youth driving innovation in finance, in technology, in entertainment, in civic activism, and in business. But demographic potential alone does not automatically produce prosperity. If young populations remain excluded, unemployed, and alienated, demographic advantage can quickly become demographic instability. This is why governance reform and youth inclusion are inseparable. Young Africans today are demanding far more than ritualistic democracy or ceremonial politics. They're demanding accountable governance, economic opportunity, dignity, transparency, and institutions that function fairly. Across the continent, we're witnessing the emergence of a new African civic consciousness shaped by digital technology, social media, and growing political awareness. From the NSAS movement in Nigeria to youth mobilizations in Kenya and here in South Africa and other countries, young Africans are increasingly asserting themselves as political actors rather than passive observers. This development should not be feared. Rather, it should be welcomed and understood as evidence of democratic maturation. Governments that respond to legitimate civic demands with repression rather than reform risk deepening distrust between states and citizens. The future of African democracy will depend significantly on whether our institutions can adapt to the aspirations of this new generation. Young people must feel that democracy works for them, that it can improve their lives, materially and socially. If democratic systems fail repeatedly to produce opportunity and inclusion, political frustration will continue to grow. African universities must once again become centers of intellectual courage, policy innovation, and democratic engagement. Our institutions of higher learning cannot merely reproduce imported ideas uncritically. They must contribute actively to solving African problems. And no serious discussion about Africa's future can ignore the climate crisis. Africa contributes the least to global carbon emissions, yet suffers disproportionately from climate vulnerability. From drought in the Horn of Africa to flooding in West and Southern Africa, climate change is already reshaping livelihoods, migration patterns, food security, and political stability. Africa must resist false choices. We cannot accept a global order in which Africa is told to remain underdeveloped in the name of climate responsibility. Climate justice requires fairness. Africa must industrialize, expand energy access, and modernize infrastructure. But Africa must also pursue a development pathway that is sustainable, innovative, and equitable. The green transition presents us with an opportunity if strategically managed. Africa can become not merely a supplier of raw materials for global green industries, but a producer of green technologies. But again, this will depend on governance and visionary leadership. And without strong institutions and visionary leaders, the green economy may simply reproduce old patterns of extraction and dependency. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this lecture is advancing African unity, sovereignty, solidarity, and renewal institution. It's at its core a declaration that the building is not complete, that we're not yet what we can be, and that the gap between what we are and what we can be is not destiny. It is a challenge, and challenges are for the living. This challenge requires honesty, the willingness to name our failures, xenophobia, governance deficits, socioeconomic debilities, institutional failures. Honesty is a prerequisite of credible aspiration. It requires memory with wisdom. We must remember the Ghana must go expulsion that I referred to, not to shame Nigeria, but to inoculate us against repetition. It requires solidarity that is structural, not sentimental. free movement of persons and goods across African borders, investment in regional infrastructure that creates interdependence, because interdependence is the practical engine of solidarity. Conviction that Africa's future will not be determined by the limitations of our past, but by the quality of the choices we make in this moment. The central lesson of our time is clear. Sovereignty without visionary leadership and institutional capacity is fragile. Unity without solidarity is hollow. And development without accountable governance is unsustainable. Africa therefore stands at a historic juncture. We must move beyond symbolic independence towards collective strategic autonomy. We must strengthen institutions that command public trust rather than personalize power. We must cultivate a continental ethic rooted not in exclusion or suspicion, but in solidarity, shared responsibility, and common destiny. Pan-Africanism must live not only in declarations, lecture rooms, and conferences, but in everyday political and moral conduct of African societies. A continent divided against itself cannot lead globally. At the same time, Africa's greatest strategic asset remains its people, particularly its youth and women. Empowering the African woman has to be one of the cardinal goals of our time. Their energy, creativity, and democratic aspirations represent the foundation upon which the next phase of Africa's transformation must be built. Our task is to ensure that institutions are capable of converting that potential into reality, innovation, and shared prosperity. The future of Africa will, therefore, depend on whether we can align 4 critical imperatives: capable institutions, visionary leadership, democratic legitimacy, and continental solidarity. If we succeed, Africa will not merely adapt to the changing global order. Africa will help shape it. And future generations may then say of us that this era in which Africans chose renewal over decline, unity over fragmentation, institutions over impunity, and shared progress over narrow self-interest. The choice is ours to make. So let us be the catalyst for the achievement of that African Renaissance President Thabo Mbeki has always spoken to us about. Happy Africa Day 2026. I thank you.
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king. I'm a king.